Everyday Heroes, brought to you by Hendrick Auto Group.
She took the position as executive director of the YWCA of Greater Charleston when the organization was a segregated institution. The YWCA on George Street was for white members and the Cumming Street Y was for blacks. She saw the problem and the solution. Christine Osburn Jackson made elimination of racism and empowering women her mission. You might say instead of focusing on the why, she pursued the why not.
Looking
The National Council of Negro Women.
at the walls
Oh, this is from your church. This is
Yeah.
from Mount Moriah.
Yeah,
of her home.
I got several from the state.
You see
Oh, that's your bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
the hallmarks
House of Representatives, so forth.
of a life of service.
This is Citizen of the Year Award.
Plaques, certificates, and proclamations received for work as executive director for the YWCA of Greater Charleston for more than 36 years fill nearly every spot of this James Island home.
That's when you got a lot when you have to put them on the floor.
Yeah, I'm blessed, I really am.
90-year-old Christine Osburn Jackson is part of the living legacy of the civil rights movement. You see, Mrs. Jackson and the late Coretta Scott King are cousins.
Her dad and my mom were sisters and brothers.
The women were close all their lives.
You know, in a small community, everybody is related. That's the way it was. But we were brought up together.
In fact, Mrs. King joined Ms. Jackson and other YWCA board members during the historic 1969 Medical University of South Carolina hospital strike. The hospital strike happened 1 year after Ms. Jackson and her late husband, the Reverend E.L. Jackson, brought their 3 children to Charleston from Alabama. He was a Baptist minister, and soon she started her job as executive director of the YWCA of Greater Charleston.
I don't remember anything except make sure the monthly mortgage payment is made. It's $400 and some. And man, we always had that money. We paid the mortgage off early and raised all kinds of programs.
One of Ms. Jackson's greatest contributions was the series of programs that would celebrate the work of slain civil rights leader Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She remembers her bold suggestion to then-Mayor Joe Riley.
To have a Martin Luther King breakfast.
An event that would bring business leaders and community organizers together.
The story got out that I went in his office unannounced. Now, I may have done that, but I believe I did call.
But you may have done that.
I may have done that.
Ms. Jackson, the staff of the YWCA, and an army of volunteers coordinated the breakfast, which eventually sparked the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and soon a week filled with events.
But I have no regrets. Even by going in the mayor's office unannounced to ask him to, whatever we wanted him to do for that Martin Luther King breakfast, why should I regret that when the breakfast is still going on after all these years? The breakfast got the total community involved.
Christine Osburn Jackson, part of the history of this community, a living legend and an everyday hero.